to build their business. And then good rising family, Black Feniks checking in, the owner of HogOn Welding and the founder of HogOn University. This morning I wanted to talk to you about building generational wealth with your family. That photo that I got posted up is of four of my aunts. Four of my aunts actually took this photo. I don't know when they took this one, but three of them I know for a fact worked at this location in McGee, Arkansas. The name of the convenience store was Jolly Rogers. And it was ironic to talk about this because I passed through there the other day and I seen the sign, I seen the new workers, I seen the new employees, and it's a new owner of the company. Actually, some Arabs came in and bought a few different retail locations inside the city. And I remember this man hiring my aunt and my mom. And I remember people saying, like, I remember even back in the day that people used to go up there because of them, because of the Oaks girls. You know what I mean? I'd go up there and laugh with my aunt and my mom. We used to have them rolling. And sometimes, we'll go and spend our money and shop with places because of the good experience, the people that's there. You're like, man, I like going over there to so-and-so, man. She'll have me laugh and she'll put a smile on my face and I'm going through something, Sometimes it's good to have that type of family ties, especially in business. And I want to talk about that this morning because it made me reflect on why it's so important to build generational wealth. Because each one of my aunts and my mother, all had to retire getting, from working there or died. So right now, out of that photo that you're looking at, only one aunt is actually still alive, and she's the one on the further. I say if I'm looking at the camera, she'll be the one to the left. She's the darker one. My aunt Shirley, she's at the end. She's still alive right now. She was a couple years older than my mom, and she's the one that's still alive and well at the moment. And so I lost three aunts out of the four on that picture so far. So, when I think about building generational wealth and I think about these companies building off of our sweat and our tears, because a lot of times we will get hired to build a company and wrap your life around it, and then they sell it and profit, and then you figure things out all over again. Family is like a never-ending circle, of chasing our tail, so to speak, trying to work for the system instead of actually creating something that works in the system. I have something that's ours, family, you know what I mean? And it requires some work ethics. It requires some sacrifice. But the cool thing is, if you got family or friends or loved ones that's going to be in a certain area, they're not going anywhere. They're steady producing. Why not put something down there or build something for them? And I've learned that when people, especially those who are grateful, when you create something for them, they'll take care of it. Not everyone, but those who are grateful. And since I've been in my hometown, I've been trying to pull some things together. I got a few business ventures that I've been working on, and one of them is a 24-hour vending machine location off of Main Street. But I want to just be more of just vending machines. I want to also kill seven birds with one stone with what's needed in the area, looking for the need. And it's all about the need. But when I think about my mom and them working there, and I think about, someone else owning the store now, and it's still up and going. People still going in there, still shopping, and it's different owners now, and I just remember the hard work they put in, you know, the hard work they put in that they couldn't pass down to someone like their kids, their daughters and sons. And I think, we worked so hard for so other people, where the only thing we pass down to our kids is some photos, some pictures, maybe a vehicle or two, or some bad debt, or, you might get a little inheritance, but a lot of times, we think we live for now, not realizing that, that history repeats itself, that I feel like energy never dies, you know. So we have to look out for our people, you know. And to me, I learned this concept from my ancestors, man. They built something and they never let their name, they built something that their name couldn't die. You know, a lot of times when our loved ones or our family members die, they dead. My mom been dead since 2012, family, since October. Most of y'all probably didn't know that, but y'all know y'all can watch videos of mama house renovations and me talking about my mom and keeping her lifted up because she's the reason I'm here. So I can't let her die. As long as I'm living, she's living. You know what I mean? Because she's living through me. And I think that's what we have to do with our family. You know, we have to live, allow them to live through us and us do better, to create businesses, to generate some wealth, to create situations where we don't have to be oppressed by the system. You know what I mean? And if we're gonna work hard and work, let's do it for ourselves. You know, we did it so hard for them. We just have to trust, you know, trust the process and network with people who actually want to see you win. You know, someone asked me one day, said, "Man, how can you tell love from lust?" And I'm gonna give you a very simple way to distinguish if someone loves you and someone just lusting you or wanting to take from you. Love will always be eager to give. It can't wait to bless you. It want to give. It want to put you in a better situation. Even if it don't say, "Man, I only got a little bit, but I give you a peace of mind." That's love. Lust is such, on the other hand, always want to take. It always want to pull from you, take from you. It's always demanding something. It's never satisfied unless you give it something. And even once you give it something, it never remembers what you just gave it. It's always what you're giving it right now. What you did for me today. Well, you know, I did. What about today? I don't talk about last week, last year. You know what I mean? What we did for today. So lust is a situation where it's always want to give. It never want to put itself in a situation where it's vulnerable like you. So you have to keep that in mind when you're dealing with businesses, when you're dealing with friends, associates, or whatever. So that way we can actually build some good relationships, family. Because thinking of my aunts working for that company, you know, dying, you know, they dead now, and you know, like I say, one is still alive, who's you know, who was the last aunt of the family. And I was just thinking about her health right now and how we have to, family, we have to break these curses, family. We have to break these curses that is passed down in these rural areas. You know what I mean? Like, the longer I'm here, the more I see Jim Crow, the more I see this sharecropping, like it's still here. Like the mentality is so small. Like, you know, people will live in a trailer and have 20 cars outside. You know what I mean? And versus investing in some real wealth. To them, the material things are their wealth. That's what they, you know, the more stuff I can get, the more wealthy I am. You know, not really affecting anyone, not really true change and helping anyone. You know, one thing about kids, if you just give them money, they'll blow through that family. But giving someone wealth has to do with money and education. It's about changing the way they think. It's about challenging their traditional ways, because a lot of times, family, what I've learned, our tradition is what's keeping us down. Our traditional ways of us wanting to live the way that our parents and their parents taught them, realizing that they didn't know what they was doing. They did that because they had to. We don't have to do that now. You know, and a lot of times, even in relationships, like your parents would pressure you to be in a relationship, you know, like growing up in the South, they say like, "Oh, you done got the girl pregnant. Y'all got to get married. You got to get married right now." And they'll force a person into a marriage, into a situation that's like terrible, just because they feel like, well, in God's eyes, you did this. You got to get married to fix it, and that's not correct, family. But that's a lot of traditional things that we do. That we push our kids into, that we believe that is not, you know, justified to be correct. And you know, like I say, it just makes me think about my aunt now and how we have to work hard and strive to build our own generational wealth, like really build something for our kids. Because if we don't, we're gonna build it for someone else. We're gonna sell it to someone else, and then our family is gonna be gone, and then we don't have nothing but a photo and a memory of them. We don't have nothing that we could actually keep them going. So that's why I love what the Egyptians did. Like, I love the way that our people made sure that this world couldn't erase us, what we did way before then. And they try to say, oh, we don't know what this happened. We don't know who did it. Yeah, you know who did this. We did this. You know what I'm saying? But coming from America, we think that our history is just slavery. Nah, it's bigger than that. You know what I mean? But here, that's what it is. But we have to break those traditional ways and think about wealth and think about finance, think about education, um, building teams with the family. You know what I mean? And sometimes, fam, you know, I like to say, when I say family, I'm not talking about blood relatives. You know, relatives is one thing. Those sisters, all relatives, they all got blood ties. But sometimes it won't be like that. Sometimes it's just gonna be family, people, someone you might grow up with, a good friend, a family, you know, someone you can cross paths with before, you know. So just keep your options open, fam. But the main thing is we have to learn how to build wealth. We have to learn how to build wealth. We have to learn how to build something so we can actually pass it down. Because the system is not designed for us to win. We had to place pawns, place rooks in place in order to get our queen and king to that spot over on the other side. If we don't do it, family, it ain't gonna be done. We can't keep playing chess, family, when they playing checkers on us. You know what I'm saying? Like, we think it's simple. Nah, we think it's just fun and games and for jokes. This is real life, family. So we have to play moves like this because we know that we're not gonna live forever, family. It's a reality. We don't know how long we got, but we're not gonna be here forever. And so while we're here, the goal is to live forever by living through someone else, by impacting someone else, by doing something that can't be undone. Like what the Egyptians did. The more they study, the more they dig, the more they find. And I think that's what we should do for our family, like my aunts, you know, to keep their name alive. Their kids, keeping their name alive. Me keeping my mom's name alive. She's been gone since 2012, family. You would think she just passed a year ago because I'm keeping her name alive as long as I'm alive. Because she established me to be here. The roof I got on my head, she made a sacrifice, you know. So I'm reaping off of some benefits and tears that she actually led. Even though I had to come back and put some work ethics in it, throw my work in it, put my touches on it to get it up to standards again. But she laid the foundation. And we have to remember that. Even if they birth you, they laid the foundation for you to be here to make something happen. So keep the name alive. And I just think we just should keep our family's name alive, especially those who made the way. You know what I mean? Before I leave, I think I seen a couple comments pop up, man. I want to make sure I get them. Good rising. You know what? You know, it's just good for us to keep all of our options open, especially when we're dealing with business, especially when we're dealing with America, especially when we're dealing with our people, with Black America, you know, because we only know one way. And I was driving by that store the other day, family, like literally it's probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 blocks. Salute, 4 or 5 blocks from me. And I was just thinking on how they still got it going on. Some new owners, they're doing this. You don't see none of my people in there running anything no more. You know what I mean? Even in there working, you know what I mean? And it's just ironic because y'all see people around here with nice cars, nice things, but they don't really have true wealth. You know, they'll rather look like wealth or look like money, so to speak, but not really have any. Just got a lot of possessions and a lot of things. They ain't really got no money. They ain't really doing nothing to impact someone. See, so most people think once they get to a certain level, they got themselves. You know what I mean? Like, what can I get? You know, what can I put on? You know, and I get it. We all get to that level, especially coming from rural areas, because we don't know no better, family. You know, you get someone, you know, fell off the cotton field, man. He gonna be happy to have some new shoes, some new clothes, have his grill fixed, man. I had teeth falling out. I got my grill fixed. I got some new clothes. Now I'm shining. I feel good. I'm better. Not knowing that still got a long ways to go, family. Still got a long ways to go. He just touching a few necessity things. Kind of like that story I was sharing with y'all a while back um, of the study that they did with the children. Put 12 kids in one room, 12 kids in another room, and then in this one room they just gave the kids what they needed: clothing, fed them, bathed them, cleaned them. But this other room, they did all of that. Plus, they played with them, you know, read to them, picked them up, made little jokes, kept them going. And study shows that the kids in the first room end up being slower than the kids in the second room because they wasn't getting any engagement, any love. They were just getting the things that they need. So it makes me think like if you just give a person their needs without fully engaging them with the information that they need to actually be productive, giving them that love, showing them, more than just, yeah, I feed you, I make sure you ain't dying. They're not going to be able to grow properly, family. And then we got grown man, you see in their 40s now, still trying to catch up to the 20s. You know what I mean? Like no BS. You see them still trying to live up to the Joneses or even women. You know what I mean? Like never waking up saying, man, life is more than this. It's more substance. But we don't see it, family. We don't see it. A lot of times, like I say, we just look at the possessions of things, and I think that's what keeps us down. Like of always just thinking that of the physical possessions, of how we look. There's nothing wrong with looking good, especially when you come from the bottom, man, and you clean yourself up, fam. There ain't nothing like being fresh. Having a fresh cut or clothes on, smelling good when you came from nothing. You know what I mean? It's a different feeling. But we can't get caught up in just that feeling alone. Okay, we there now. Let's enjoy it. Let's suck it all up. Let's have a good time. Now it's time to open up our minds just a little bit more because we got more changing to do. We got more developing to do. So we just can't stop there. And I think a lot of times we just stop on image. We got to do more soul searching, family. We got to do more digging and figure out how can we turn our earned income into passive income. How can we allow the money that we're making to help us instead of us making the money? Let the money make the money since we done made the money. You get it? You make the money and then allow the money to make you more money. Because see, coming from where we from, we don't get big inheritance. So we have to figure out a way to get it. So we got to get a trade, get a job, do some of these things and make some investments. Don't just indulge in yourself. Just don't buy all new clothes and buy all new cars and, get what you need. And then once you get the bag up, we got to learn how to use it to invest and keep the bag going. But you don't have to go to this job where they, where they stepping on you and belittling you every day. Where you don't have to do things you really don't want to do. Where you're not happy at all. You know what I mean? And the last thing we want to be in 2022, family. I don't know who you are, where you at, but the last thing you want to be in this day and age is doing something that makes you miserable. Because we don't know how long we got. Family, we dying. We dropping like flies. Like, I don't know, have you been watching the news? Everybody, like, just, man, I got some family that just passed this weekend. They had a funeral. It's like every weekend we burying somebody, family. Might be your call. We don't know. You know what I mean? So while we here, we can't just be oppressed. You know what I mean? It's time for us to break those chains, man, and build something for our family. Build something for our grandkids and their kids and their kids, because that's how they think. So we have to think that same way. Well, we actually don't think like that. We just think one dimensional, so to speak. We always just think, man, how can I shine today? I was listening to one of my cousins talking about, how, um, how we used to have the mentality of just taking something, And I'm gonna be honest with you, family. I grew up in that era. I grew up as a gangster, like, so we grew up in my era, and the people that I grew up around, we really believed in taking it. Like, we was gonna take it. We ain't gonna steal it, we gonna take it. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how we was. We was bold enough to say, hey, we gonna pull this pistol, we gonna rob you with no mask. I didn't did it before, family. I was from that era though. I don't have to do that now. I use that same energy though. Just like I was robbing and doing that BS, I use that same energy to knock on doors and break doors with welding and independence and business. I don't have to take anything no more, but I still have to take something. That makes sense? They're not gonna give it to you. You're gonna have to go take it. It's just what it is. But you have to have that heart and say, hey, I don't care how it's gonna work out. I'm hungry right now. It's him or me. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it was at one time. And I remember I talked to one of my best friends' brother, um, Derek Frank. Salute to him. He's in Atlanta right now. Jamie Frank is actually his little brother, which was, I grew up with him, was like my best friend. It was like this here. You seen him, you see me. And he had a conversation with me one day. We was talking and he was telling me something that Jamie said, and it really stuck to my mind. It made me think about it actually the other day. I was really thinking about it. He said that he was talking to his brother about doing something righteous. Hey man, you come to Atlanta, I get you out here, get you some. And he said at first his brother was gonna, leave, and then he said, talk to him again. He said, nah, man. He said, man, I got it, man. He said, brother, bro, these dudes scary. These dudes, man, they got this, they scary though. I'm just gonna take what I want, bro. I'm good, I'm gonna be all right. And he was like, hold up, bro, what you mean? He said, man, you just can't go run around and just take people's stuff, bro, and think it's gonna be all right. Think ain't gonna be no repercussions. He's like, man, they weak, man. You know what I mean? They don't deserve it. We gonna take it. And it was crazy because that's the mentality I had, man. I grew up like that, gangster like that. Like that's how we thought we was selling drugs and hustling. You know what I mean? And keeping a pistol on us. If a lick come through, we taking it. We was, in our mind, we felt like if a person wasn't from where we was from, or you weren't from our struggle, then you don't deserve to come around here to act like you had it, you know what I mean, in front of us. You know what I mean? We taking it if you come over here like that. And it's crazy to hear him say this about my best friend. And you know what happened to him, family? He got killed, family. Pulling a robbery. Just got out of prison, wasn't out too long. Pulled a robbery with a gentleman who actually, the gentleman he robbed the place with, killed him and took all the money. There's no loyalty among thieves, fam. You know what I mean? You have to think about that. You got someone that down to do whatever. And you with someone that say, man, I'm hungry than him. I'm going to take his too. So you get to live with somebody that kill you and take all the money. Y'all both did it together, but he killed you and said, I'm taking all the money. It's wicked, family. It's a wicked world, you know what I'm saying? Because different people have different loyalty. And it was crazy because a few of my friends seen him with this guy before and said, man, they didn't trust him. They're like, hey, man, who is this guy? Because it wasn't one of us. It was somebody else. And, a lot of time you trust people that you've been in the foxhole with. It was a new guy that he, felt like he was 100, maybe somebody he met out the joint that he never fully been around. So he thought, this guy was 100 and he wasn't, fam. He ended up killing my homeboy. So it humbled me to think about the way I was raised and how I was taken. And, I got incarcerated for aggravated robbery and dope selling and shooting. So it could have happened to me. It was even told that I wouldn't live the C18, fam, because of how I was moving and the energy that I had, at that time. And honestly, my homeboy, Frank, you know what I mean? We both were going one, but he was a little, he was a little, his trigger on his gun was like hair. You blow on it, it's already shot a shot. At least mine, I got squeeze mine a little bit. My guy, he was a fool. You know what I'm saying? I loved him though. And my mom used to say, he ain't gonna live long. I know that's your partner. My mama told me this. I'm like, Mama, why you say that about him? I see it in the spirit. There's something about him. You know what I mean? And my mama told me that, and I love my homeboy to this day. Me doing this HogOn University, helping other people find something, being in rural areas, is because, I think of my guy, you know what I mean? He needed a skill, he needed a different direction, man, because he was the boss. I mean, he was a hustler. He could have did something. He could have did so much, but he closed his mind up, you know what I mean? And I don't want that to happen to someone else, son, child, brother, sister, you know what I mean? So, my goal is with this independent welding is to help those who need it, help those who want it. You know what I mean? Help those who say, man, you know what? I need some help. You know what I mean? I want to change in rural areas because I understand. That's why I go to the slums, fam, because I'm from there. You got to be from there. You got to have you got to have a heart to say, hey, I know who I am. I'm not intimidated by anyone, any crowd, because I already walked. I done walked in the valley of the shadow of death already, family. That's what going to prison at 15 and 16 years old doing a decade. If you can do that and you don't come out tainted, then nobody rapes you. You didn't give it up. You was stumped down. You stood your own. You weren't trying to step on nobody, but you made sure that nobody step on you. You're not going to do that without being some type of solid. You see what I'm saying? So me surviving that made me a little different. I am a little harder. I am a little bolder, in certain cases because I have seen the family. I've been there. You know what I mean? I've been on both sides of the fence. I've been that kid with the dope sack, with the crack in his hand, trying to make $20 rocks. And I've been the same one with that pistol, running in the store, taking something, or running into a drug house and robbing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been there. So I can only say that I got to lead by example, family. That's why it's very, very important for me to leave a legacy of change. You know what I mean? Because just because you grew up one way doesn't mean you got to stay that way. I just only had limited information at the time. Like, I only knew so much, so I could only do so much. You know what I mean? But now that I know better, family, I just try to keep it before my eyes and just like, man, I got to build some wealth. I got to build something that's going to be here once I'm gone that can help sustain my people. Not just money, but I got to give them some wealth too. I got to, if you want to call it tricking, I got to trick them in the ways to work for themselves, to be their own boss. So if I got to build the example first and put it there to say he did it from nothing. He come from slums. Man, this dude couldn't even read. He taught himself how to read and write. He got a GED. He did all of this from nothing, from the projects, from the slum, from the cotton fields. And if he can do it, surely you can do it. I just don't want to give anybody any excuses anymore. I think we got enough excuses. I don't care where you from, where you was born, what color you are, or what part of town you was on. Stop making excuses, man. It's gonna be hard for all of us, man. But one thing I realized, if you get up and you start knocking on them doors and you start doing something on your own, you start doing something, you're gonna get some results, family. But just sitting there, going with the system, is only gonna leave you perished and forgotten. Think about it. You can even think about some loved ones in your life that you ain't heard their names in a while. Because once they dead, we forget about them. Why is that? We forget about them. They gone now. Every now and then you might hear somebody pop up in the conversation, but we don't keep them alive. We got to learn how to keep our family alive, family, by building something, having their names on it, having them a part of it. This is because of so-and-so. Last weekend we had my Oaks family reunion, and my mom was remembered. People was talking about, I had pictures out, to show some of the kids, like, oh, I never seen her. Well, let me show you what mama looked like. A lot of them didn't see. And it was funny. Some of my nieces and nephews didn't even know what my mama looked like. I said, really? Like, it really kind of hurt me. I'm like, you don't know what mama looked like? Your mama ain't been showing you no pictures. You don't know nothing. You don't even know what your grandma looked like. So we have to change that, family. We have to change that. So this morning, I'm just up, Sunday. I'm actually just being talking to you, just, holding a conversation. But it was just something that I wanted to talk about, man, especially after passing by that convenience store last night, just looking at it and just thinking about the people that work there and the people that, don't own it now, that sold and moved on and living good. And they got someone else working, And here we are, steady looking for a job. When we can build a business and pass it down to the family. Someone else can work. There's always going to be someone in the family that's going to be level-headed, family. Everybody ain't going to be on no BS. You just got to find those who are on the right side of the track and build it with them and say, hey, we know you're doing it for them too. Once they wake up, open up the door for them. We know you on one right now. All right, he only want to come through and make a little money every now and then. All right, that's fine. Help him make a little money. But once he finally wake up, we got a place for you over here at HogOn. You know what I mean? That's what I want to do, family. And like I know that I got to do it by example, family. And it's not easy. I'm being here, trying to build something, and I'm like, literally, it feels like at times I'm pulling teeth being in my hometown. I am making some progress, but the progress is slow to me. If I was in a bigger area, I know it'd be faster, but just a slower process. And I know that the finances and things I have to make things happen. I actually, and the crazy part is I don't have to go outside the area, but I have to go outside the area, if that makes sense. There's money here, but I have to go outside to get mine and bring it back, in order to make my vision, come to pass. But, I'm cool with it, man. And I'm knowing that if I don't do something to break this chain, it's going to be the same way with my kids and their kids. And I just don't want to see it happen in family. You know, my daughter told me the other day, she said, Daddy, one thing you have taught me, if I never forget. And I said, what's that, baby? Never depend on the job. Always have you a hustle. Always have you something coming in, some extra. Don't depend on that. Keep you something going. And I'm like, yeah, you better believe it, baby. You know what I mean? Because if you depend on the system to take care of you, you better believe they're gonna be passing you something. You're gonna be getting something you really don't want while you waiting on them to take care of you. It's always ulterior motive, family. So build something with your family. Like I say, that photo is a picture of my mom and three of my aunts, and actually one of them is still, well, actually one of those in the photo is still alive, and then there's one more aunt still here. So we have to remember our family. We have to keep our family alive. You know, don't let them when they date expire. Don't let them go and say, "Oh yeah, that was mama." Nah, keep them alive, family. Keep them alive. Build something for them. You know, in the remembrance of them, so that way the kids and their kids and their kids can know what this person did and how important it was. So I just wanted to come to you, like I said this morning, talk to you about that. Didn't really want to take up a lot of time, but I had to kind of talk about a few different things that was on my mind this morning. Make sure I missed no comments. Yes, keep them alive, fam. What you said. So we got to keep our family alive, and I just wanted to say, man, everybody, I hope everybody have a blessed day today. Be productive, uh, get you some rest, think outside the box, family. You know what I mean, and just enjoy life. Like I read a meme the other day that says, while you're struggling to survive, don't forget to enjoy life. Like we always struggling to pay bills, get over the head, just get this going and something else going and something else going. Family, we got to take a time to enjoy life. And I'm gonna tell you something I have learned the older I got. The best things I had the most fun doing, the things that brought me the most peace, didn't even cost anything, family. Y'all be blessed. HogOn.